Welcome back, frenemies, specifically our 757 frenemies, episode 71. We're talking about keepers in our local league. We're letting our hair down. Take my hat off. No, I'm not. And we're just going to talk our local league and their list of keepers. They're locked, commish. Right?
They're locked
They're
unless
locked.
something catastrophic happens and we have crazy things in place and bylaws, and we're not going to talk about that.
No, we're not going to talk about those things. So we're going to start it off. We're going left to right on our draft board. And Sean, who has the first pick in our draft?
Well,
I don't know.
Ryan Meckes does, unfortunately.
Why?
And he almost didn't make the podcast this year because
No, we almost had to cut him off because, dude, you finished at 10th, man. Well, that's what you get.
12th.
12th.
There's a 12-team league now.
I'm so sorry. Mason freaking Rudolph. All right.
But he's back. He's back. He's committed.
He's back and better
He's
than ever.
going to come back
Guys, when
from
you lose,
worst to first.
When you lose like 6 games, it's like, all right, I'm gonna put my time elsewhere.
So we're going straight to Ryan's keepers here. He's got some good value here, Sean. I like it. The 4th and the 5th round is where your keepers are, according to our rankings on the Sleeper app. We can talk more how you guys can see it. Lev Bell in the 4th, right at the turn there at 5-1. DJ Metcalf, according to you, Ryan, but DK Metcalf at 5. Sean, do you have anything to say about it?
I was going to say, I'll talk about it and then I'll throw it to Ryan if he has any thoughts beyond it. But to me, Le'Veon Bell is probably going to be the steal of the draft in the freaking 4th round.
Fourth
I
round.
could not. Tim texted me. He was like, 4th round for Le'Veon Bell. Like I think his floor is like RB20, and you're getting him probably somewhere like in the 30s for running backs because our league is just going to freaking value running backs the whole time. And
Yep.
yeah.
It's actually Tim who kind of changed my mind on Le'Veon.
Yeah, guys. Shout out
I
to
was hoping
Tim.
you let him go
Bro.
because I was ready to take him in that 3rd or whatever.
I was ready to move on and keep Debo Samuel and DK Metcalf.
I think you made the right decision though, because
Yeah.
now DK on that draft price does have to take another step. But
Yeah.
I mean, for a rookie season, you can't argue with what he did.
Yeah.
So
Can't. All right, so picking second in our draft, the lesser, better-looking twin of mine, Mike. You kept Adam Thielen at the 3.2 spot, and then Evan Ingram down in the 7th round. I'm just going to talk to my brother real quick, bro. Your roster was gross. So I agree with who you kept. Evan Ingram, dark horse tight end. You couldn't keep a running back at all. No one likes Leonard Fournette right now. Adam Thielen could have more targets with Diggs out of the picture. Kamish, what are your thoughts?
who else did he have? Give me like the top names after.
Leonard
for Evan
Fournette.
Evan Ingram's the one that I don't know if I like in the
so
7th,
he's
but-
got Leonard Fournette, Bo Scarborough at running back, Adam Thielen, DJ Chark,
What-
Marquise Hollywood Brown,
Yeah, so I don't have the list. But-
Adrian Peterson, Sammy Watkins, Larry Fitzgerald, Carson Wentz, Damian Williams.
Woo!
Yes, that's what I mean.
I'll say this is what I would have done. I would have kept one person. I don't know if you knew that was an option or not, but
I think
I would
he
not
probably
have
did,
kept-
but he's like, you know what? Everyone likes Evan Ingram. I'm just keeping him
Yeah.
at that 7th pick there. I would
It's
let
not bad when you get past the 5th round. Like I said, it doesn't matter.
I would let Evan Ingram go, and just keep Thielen. I think Thielen's an
Can't
all
grow
right
anymore.
pick.
He's a big man.
At a 3rd round, he's a hinge wide receiver 1 to top tier wide receiver 2 in fantasy. But honestly, you got 2 picks. All right, so you can really pack up the running backs or grab a wide receiver 1 that's better than Thielen and an RB1 at some point in those first 2 rounds. All right, moving over to Soul Juice.
Soul Juice, the man of mystery that became
mystery man.
Andy. We finally figured it out.
These are
But
good picks.
Andy.
yeah, I mean, for what his team was, I think he actually made out pretty well. Getting the number 1 wide receiver. I mean, at the 3rd spot, that's not a big deal. He was going to go in the 1st round,
Yeah.
so you're probably okay with that. Philip Lindsay, he's got to have his homer pick. We all know
That's
he's
his homer pick.
Former Denver Muffin Hunters.
Denver Muffin Hunter was his original name with us.
Hardcore Broncos fan.
Yeah. Oh, and for those in our league that don't know, he's moved back to Colorado. So
I didn't
he's one
even
of our
know this.
Yeah, he's one of our out of towners now.
I texted him.
Yep. I texted him and I was like, "Hey man, how you doing?" And he's like, "Dude, I had this crazy just quick move and I'm in Colorado now, but if you guys want me, I'm in the league." And I'm like, "Okay, it's
We
more
want
fun.
you, Andy.
It's
We
more
want
fun.
you.
Yeah, it's more fun with a Denver Muffin Hunter.
Yeah,
in
so
there.
Muffin Hunter, the best receiver in there, Michael Thomas, great keeping in there. Philip Lindsay, 8th round, I guess not bad in there,
Yeah.
but he's split in the backfield, right? He's not the RB1 there in Denver. So that's a tough one for me to swallow. But for 8th round value, for a guy that's going to get a decent amount of carries, and you had, Devontae Freeman hasn't signed with anybody yet. looking down your list.
Not many options.
I would have looked at a Cortland Sutton based it on how far he could have dropped.
I think
on
the value
rankings.
on him was probably not going to be very
A
good.
little too high. All right, so not too bad. Or a Tom Brady, keep him at the 10th round. But again, you can wait on QBs. I can't argue with the Michael Thomas. I'm a little iffy on Philip Lindsay there. All right, so my captain, the real captain, Morgan himself.
I like this.
Miami Cowboy. Yeah,
If he can get a sleeper wide receiver or a good wide receiver, he'll be just fine.
as you know, if you can start your draft off with 2 potential top 10 running backs, which has kind of been a strategy that me and Ryan love.
So at the 1-4 for him right there in the first round, Derrick Henry.
Yep.
And then the second round, he's keeping Kenyon Drake, which I hate you for.
Kenyon would have been a first round, right? I'm trying to think.
No, in most leagues he would slip into the second.
He was a second rounder. But those are, you got your backfield set to go. That's
Yep.
always things that we're digging for in the draft if we don't keep a running back, right?
And you can
So-
focus on the value at wide receiver the rest of the draft now. Like, not to give you draft tips too much, but like, it's pretty obvious that, you can spend the next couple rounds picking up wide receivers and just
Morgan,
seeing if
if
one
you-
of them hits.
Tight end, wide receiver.
But just make sure they're
wide
not
receiver.
injured, Morgan.
If Morgan's listening to this podcast, comment below at YouTube, okay? Or text us once you hear this. Okay, so Captain, great keepers there. Lock those suckers up. Then we go to the accountant himself, Dan. Oh, not I'm so sorry.
The accountant.
The other Kalana. He's got Joe Mixon and Miles Sanders. We just talked about Miles Sanders in episode 70 here. Sean, what are you thinking about the accountant?
I don't hate it if he is fine for week 1. Like, he had to make that decision because it was that weekend, and so that's I think it was really difficult to do. But if he kind of thinks of Joe Mixon as his first, because he's gone in the first in some leagues, and then you get Miles Sanders in the second, it's basically a repeat of what Morgan has, just a little riskier, I think, with the injury.
This is kind of scary, but very high ceiling.
Daniel, I was calling you Dan. That's why I laughed earlier. Daniel, you have a plethora of guys to choose from.
He had a very good roster.
Andre Hopkins, Cooper Kupp,
That was-
Fumbler himself, Chris Carson.
That was the shocker for Tim, was that he couldn't believe that DeAndre Hopkins wasn't kept by Daniel. But
I would have
But-
dropped.
Breaking news: Joe Mixon missing practice due to migraines.
that's like Daniel's favorite thing to do in our chat. For those of you that aren't in our league, he loves to point, "Hey, look, this is your player, and he's hurt.
So,
what do you
yes.
think of this report?"
Both of you guys are hurt.
I guess
Literally,
Kenyon Drake is
Migraines. Okay, that's not funny. Migraines are painful, but it's
Kenyon
kinda
Drake was the same thing. Actually, and we didn't even talk about that, but yeah, he's in a walking boot.
Yeah, Daniel, I understand the thing here. Running backs are always tough in this league, but dude, I couldn't argue if you even kept Mark Andrews, third best tight end there, 10 touchdowns last season. You had a lot of good receiving options, and I noticed you're just going to put out there. You might pick up these guys again when it comes around you, around 3 or 4, to fill in those spots. So you got to lock in your running backs.
Guess what?
It's tough there.
It's time for Chris, the coach, Schoenrock.
Oh boy, tear me up with this one, guys. What do you think here? I got to keep
love it. I love it.
Chris Godwin in the second and Patrick Mahomes in the third.
Oh yeah.
So I got my first round pick for me.
Yeah.
Wide open there.
The crutch you're gonna have is the Patrick Mahomes in the third thing. Like,
He keeps rising up. Can we start getting some QB value?
I mean,
down
there was
there?
years I remember when David was able to keep Aaron Rodgers in like the 7th in his prime,
Yeah.
and it was like that's when you wanted to keep the quarterback. But you're in a keeper league. It's a pass heavy league, and you know that he's going to be around for 10 years apparently.
Yeah, I got to. And then noticing that I still got that first round pick open, I was fine with it. Going next year, if Mahomes rises up, I might have to take my own fantasy advice
And let him go.
and let him go.
Yeah.
If it takes too far to where I'm missing out on some good talent that I need to put in there with so much quarterback option.
I'm never gonna argue with you, and I guess that's Leroyce there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, having a quarterback like those top 3 guys. Oof. I just like my championship year. I had Andrew Luck, and I could count on him for like between 20 and 30 points a week.
Yeah.
Like that's amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
It still hurts. Andrew Luck retired so early.
Yep.
All right, so we're talking about me. I'm going to talk about you.
I was say we're
All
back to
right.
back. I don't like this. I'm scared of this
Yes.
draft
This is
because
going to be amazing and terrible.
we're going to snipe each other left
Yes,
and right.
we are. I'm not going to look at you across the room like I usually do. Anyways, Commission's keeping Dalvin Cook, who I hate myself for trading away. All right, in the first round,
In the first round.
second round, Julio Jones. How do you feel?
So this
with
was
those keepers.
This was the big decision, and I'll let kind of Ryan chime in afterward because he had mentioned that he thought I made the right decision. But I was back and forth on Julio and Tyreek.
Yeah.
If there was no injury concern or character issues, speaking as like a team drafting, I would probably have done Tyreek because he's connected to Patrick Mahomes and he's way younger than Julio Jones. But I just don't see a world where if Julio doesn't get hurt, he's not a top 5 wide receiver this year again, like he is every year. And for me, if I'm going for a championship, having that, set in stone is just, it's that security I need, especially with a Dalvin Cook that has the injury concern. And I want some stability, and I feel like he can give me that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to get, like, Julio's gotten to the point where you can count on him to get 10 to 15 points, but, you can't really bank on getting 5 games that he gets in the 40s because he's just not going to do that.
So it didn't.
Because touchdowns aren't there. If the touchdowns come, he can be wide receiver 1.
So it didn't cross your mind to keep George Kittle there?
So I mean, this is talking about another good team. Like,
Yeah.
not to pat myself on the back, but I would
made the playoffs last year,
If I
guys.
could have just kept my roster, I absolutely would for like the
Okay.
first 4 rounds because I could have then kept Kittle and Tyreek and had those 4 players and been
That was
set.
a good team.
Yeah,
that was a good team.
It's Dalvin Cook that killed me. If Dalvin Cook wasn't hurt, I would have had a better shot last year.
All
But
right.
anyways,
It's everyone's favorite.
Leroyce,
Person in the
the
league,
man. We
Leroyce.
can't besmirch him this year
No, we
because
What word was that?
besmirch.
Oh my!
Add it to
Nice.
your dictionary there.
Besmirch. That's good.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Go.
I'll talk a little bit because I feel like I was leading the train and not liking your team last year, but I like what you did, Leroyce. You got that that running back locked up. Didn't even cost you that first rounder.
No, that's amazing.
There's a little bit of a scary thing with Kareem Hunt coming in and taking more stuff, but honestly, they're going to run the ball so much that if he's even just the first and second down guy, and if the offense is any better than it was last year, he's going to be, in that running for the top 10 running back, and locking that up in the second round is amazing. And then, of course, same stuff we talked about with Patrick Mahomes is Lamar Jackson. And I got to give, he knows how to not get hurt at this point.
Yeah.
The fact that he made it all the way through last season and didn't have that. Now, I think he did come up on an injury report in the last week or 2 here, but he's been good at getting out of bounds or going down, or he's just too good that people can't even touch him.
I mean, Lamar's a cheat code. And you had a very good team last year, obviously, because you're a playoff team. But I want to give it to you. No homer pick here, buddy. You let Amari go.
Yeah.
He did not keep his
I
Cowboy.
didn't even think about that.
He didn't
That is,
keep
you've
Cooper.
come a long way, Leroyce.
Yeah.
Bravo to you, buddy.
And just to keep, because I keep bringing up Jake Seeley,
Yeah.
QB1. You got Jake Seeley's QB1 for
Everybody's
2020.
QB1, man. That's going in.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to go to the Reverend Kalana here. The Rev, where you're going. You're keeping Zeke and Devontae Adams, 1 and 2. So your first 2 picks are off the board. Sean, what do you think about those 2 keepers?
Yeah, I mean that's what he had to do. I don't think it's like going to be the best one in here, but it's definitely a really good and safe one. Like, great way to start a draft with a wide receiver 1 and a running back 1.
I can't
And
complain. That's
both in the
awesome.
top 5. Like, if I was picking one a team that I could probably just start with and not have to worry about anything in the first 2 rounds, that's probably the best combo to start. The running backs, I like those teams better, but they're more volatile when it comes to like a running back gets hurt a lot more than a wide receiver. Although Devontae Adams was hurt last year, but
Yeah. All right, so moving off from the Reverend, I'm going to Phil.
I gotta say, this is good.
wait.
This
Oh.
is
yeah,
really
go ahead,
good.
Ryan.
You go with this.
Alvin Kamara and Josh Jacobs. I mean,
How does he keep doing this?
He has so many good keepers he keeps every year. So
We have to give it to Phil at this point. He's good at drafting
Phil
players,
is
like
a good
really good at
He's
drafting.
good at fantasy.
Yeah.
I'm so mad at myself. We were talking about last year going into the draft, and I took Tyreek with the back end first pick for me
Yeah.
instead of Josh Jacobs. And we kind of had a gentleman's thing going in there, but man, I wish I sniped you. I should have taken Josh Jacobs, buddy. I should have, but I had a different keepers that year with the running back position. But man, good running back core coming in. Alvin Kamara needs to score more touchdowns this coming season, but those are studs.
Henry
Yeah.
Ruggs is now there. It's going to be
I think
soft defenses.
Of the three
Less 8-man boxes.
of the 3 teams that kept 2 running backs, I actually think his is the best for sure.
Ooh.
Like over
Yeah.
over the
You're
Derrick
right.
Henry,
I like
Kenyon
that.
Drake, or Miles Sanders Mixon to his. I mean, to me, there's almost no world where they both stay healthy and they're not both top 10 running backs. Like,
It's going to be interesting to see Phil like in a purely 7-5-7 perspective. He's always been a 2 wide receiver team.
yeah, I mean, he's
To see him adapt
Switched his-
will be very
yeah.
interesting.
All right, so moving on here, we're going to Joe. All right, man, Joe's been up there.
Our
in
champion.
title, yeah.
oh no, sorry,
No.
runner up. Oh, I'm
Runner-up.
sorry, Joe. That was
Why'd you say that? 2 years in a row. All right, so Joe,
Christian
obviously,
McCaffrey.
keeping
talk
Christian
about cheat
McCaffrey.
codes.
Yeah, that guy's a cheat code.
It's one running back and a wide receiver in one spot.
So no one can argue that. All right,
We don't need to talk about it.
3rd round pick, DJ Moore.
Is this a homer pick or do you agree with it?
I think
This is a homer pick.
it's a homer pick.
He's a big breakout. Like,
yeah, I think he's valued lower, and he could finish and actually solidify where you're keeping him. But
I think you're
can't
keeping him
take
at his
there.
ceiling. Is
Yeah.
why I don't like it.
I saw him as a 4th rounder.
Yeah,
3rd rounder is
he doesn't
too
get to
soon
pick
for him.
that though. So what?
No.
Who else was on his roster there?
But honestly, he couldn't go anywhere. You had an old man Keenan Allen, Darren Waller, Mark Ingram. That's now sharing the backfield. David Johnson. He's
Yeah.
underwhelming.
If he's looking to the
Yeah.
future, then that's
No, it's a good one to keep there. I was like, dude, that's a price to pay for a 3rd
I spoke
rounder.
too soon. I spoke too soon. I should have, I should actually back up what I'm saying a little bit more because he got 1,175 yards last season. So never mind. I'm gonna let you just have that one, Joe.
But I'm
Yeah.
like, wow. DJ
Yeah.
Moore has always been a darling from middle rounds, and now he's making himself to a top 3 round type of player, which is surprising to me. But it's it's like I can't believe it, but I understand it. All right, so we're going to finish with the champ.
the champ, Tim
right.
James, with his.
Tim
I went back
James.
and watched his little letter to the league, and it's fantastic.
All right, Dr. James, not MD. Keeping Saquon Barkley and Travis Kelce. How do you-
I love that risky, kind of slightly risky Travis Kelce move.
Yeah,
I wouldn't call it risky.
I wouldn't
he's,
either, yeah.
He's the new younger Gronk.
I just love the tight end. I love that he's taking the tight end up.
yeah.
in
This
the
is
second.
to me. This is
Yeah.
chalk here. I know he didn't like having to keep him at the top of the 2nd round.
No.
But and the thing that sucks for him is he's got to wait so long to that 3rd pick. It's basically a 4th round pick is what he's got to go off of. So, but in this draft, I think wide receivers are going to fall, so he'll be all right.
Honestly, if I were him, like coming around, you're looking at getting your RB2 back around. If it's there, I mean, you're going back to back, but if
Back
you
to
have to
back,
solidify it a little more, I mean,
Being at the end sucks, man.
It does.
I mean, even for you, Ryan, it's going to just be you have to, especially we were talking
have to
about
make
the,
it count.
the other episodes we were talking about.
Yeah.
You have to reach like crazy. Like
Yeah.
if there's a guy you want, you got to take him 2 rounds ahead of time because he probably won't be there when he comes back around.
oh, yeah. Yeah, so those are the keepers in our league. I can't argue with many of them, man. I think their guys are doing pretty good. There's strategy in the picks. There's some that are head scratchers to me.
It's a smart
deeper,
league.
deeper round ones, but hey, they're below the 3rd round. You're going to be okay keeping
Yep.
those guys there.
So just a quick note, I'll ask you, you guys, what team do you like the best? Like if you had to start with one of these teams, who would you pick?
David Kalana. Give me Zeke, give me Devontae Adams, give a wide receiver 1 and a top tier running back 1
Yeah.
locked up. Gives me freedom when we come around that 3rd round pick.
For me, it would be Phil. I mean, we just talked about it, but having those 2 top 10 backs,
Yeah.
and then the rest of the draft not having to worry about it and collecting all that wide receiver value that you'll get in the next few rounds. I think he's set up, man. You got a chance this year for sure.
Philly, man. Come on now.
You got one, Ryan, for us?
Yeah, well, obviously like mine a lot because I have 3 rounds where I can pick. But
Yeah.
I gotta say, I do like your team. Yes, I really like Tom Brady with Chris
Pay
Godwin.
him off now, Chris.
Hey, well, here you go, buddy. Thank you.
I love Tom Brady with Chris Godwin. I think that's gonna be crazy.
New Edelman.
And Patrick Mahomes. I like this. I think that's gonna be if you make that first pick account and don't trade it to anybody. You'll be
Yeah,
fine.
actually, we're kind of out of time here, but we could discuss a little bit of a trade, Chris.
I already told you who I'm picking.
I'm
so.
bringing this on him, so what would it take? I guess
do
asking
it.
me, what would you be offering for Dalvin Cook?
Nothing.
So you're out.
Nope, the guy I like in that position, I'd rather take over Dalvin right now.
Okay, well then
Whoa.
you're in a good spot then.
Yeah.
we had a fun chat back
Yeah,
and
we
forth. That's
did.
why I asked. I threw it up to Ryan because I started to fall in love with CEH, and I was like, I don't want to deal with Madison backup thing. So you want to trade the first round pick? So he entertained it for a little while, but I don't know if he's still entertaining it or not.
We might talk more offline.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Well, guys, thanks for listening in. If you weren't part of the local league listening in here, we got a lot of fun talking about our keepers. Guys in our league, if for some reason you did not like hearing who you were keeping, let us know
Yeah.
so we can make those changes.
Yep. I mean, the draft is a week from Monday. As many of you can get there. I said this at the end of the last podcast. I'm going to save the end of this one. Like, come in person if you can. It's going to be way more fun if everybody's there.
Shout out to my brother. He literally took time off of work to make our draft.
And fly down here.
Fly down from Indianapolis to be here because he wants to meet the rest of the guys, the local listeners,
Yep.
or the local league guys, just to feel more part of the league. So that's bravo to you too.
So you
Good
out of
job.
towners, take a page out of that
Yeah,
book.
Leroyce, I
No.
want you here, buddy.
He's like, isn't he only like 2 hours away?
I
or
know,
something?
right? Come on now, I'll pay you the gas money. I'll
We missed
Venmo
you, Leroyce.
We do, man. It's not the same without you in person.
Such a beautiful man.
The
Such a
food is
beautiful
always the
man.
best at
Yeah.
these parties. We always
Yeah.
do it up.
Oh, so we're doing snacks.
Bring
Yeah.
good snacks, shareable snacks,
Shareable
good finger
snacks.
foods.
What if I like bring in like my own wings for myself?
I would hate you. It's got to be shareable.
Like a lot of them though, more than I can eat.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of
Just
like
from the Dirty Buffalo.
just sneeze on them once. Yeah.
Oh man! All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening. All right, we'll be back next week for more content for you guys to divulge.
right.
Deuces.
Goodbye.